What's up, guys? Back here with a chest day video. And before we get into any of that chest day activities, I gotta work here first. Gotta get my jobs up in here. But today is a very interesting day in terms of where the world is at, where the world is at right now. So there's an eclipse going on here today. I don't know if you guys know that, but there is an eclipse going over here. I don't know if I think it's mostly visible here in the US. I live in Florida, so there's going to be about 60% visible for the eclipse. Now, I don't know if any of you guys are necessarily religious, but it just so happens to be that I guess that the eclipse is actually going to be going over cities in America that's going to be, if not totally visible, very visible, all across cities called Nineveh. And it just so happens to be some of the same cities that I believe Jonah was predicting about in the end days. And I guess there was like an X formation forming all across the US, because there was an eclipse in, I believe, 2017 over all these cities called Salem, and then Nineveh, and an X formation, it looks like. So it's interesting, and there's nothing by coincidence ever. In my opinion, I'm very spiritual, I guess, if you want to say spiritual, religious. And it's nothing by coincidence, because it says in the Bible that there will be signs in the heavens. And people back, like in David's time, Solomon's time, this is stuff that they used. They look towards the sky. And it's interesting that an eclipse is happening, I guess, during this whole time. You have a lot of big stuff going on. You have wars in the Middle East. You have presidential debates coming up with who we got in office. The world is at a very weird time. And this is stuff I normally don't talk about here on the channel. Not that I shy away from it, because I like talking about it. The message is, if you guys are spiritual, if you guys have, heard any messages from any other YouTubers, because I know people like Alex Eubank talks about spirituality, about bettering yourself, and that is what Whitaker Strength is about, is mentally, physically, spiritually growing. I think now is probably a really good time. It doesn't mean that today the rapture is going to happen. Not saying that, but there's definitely signs in the heavens, man. So you want to kind of prepare yourself. And honestly, there's a lot of stuff I got to get good at, because I feel like, personally, me, last couple months have been not really performing spiritually like I should be. Thinking about things I shouldn't, saying things I shouldn't, all the above. We're all human. We all got stuff we gotta work on, for sure. And use these reminders as like a wake-up call, like when coach would blow the whistle or give you a heads up on what training's gonna be like. This is really it. It's a weird place where we're getting into the world, and AI, artificial intelligence, is ramping up. It's almost like it's Terminator style, just like everything that this artificial intelligence can even do. But I would say use these times as a reminder of what we need to be, how we need to act. And let's say if there's any of you guys who are out there who are kind of stressing out about, who don't like talking about this stuff, because they're like, you know what, I don't like how I've been acting. I haven't had a relationship with God ever. I haven't, whatever. Listen, man, for you specifically, there is always hope. Always. When Yeshua was on the cross and he was about to be, and he was about to die, there was one of the people on the cross that was right next to him. He was a robber, I believe, and they crucified him for that. And no one else believed that Yeshua was the Son of God, or God in flesh. And he basically said, you know what, I believe that you are. And Yeshua looked at him and said that, today you're going to join me. So the very last breath that guy took, he just said he believed. His whole life necessarily didn't even matter. He had so much time that went by. I don't know if it was like 30, 40, 50 years that all went by where he was a sinner. He didn't do anything to get right with God up until that last breath. Now, we have these warning signs here in our life. Try not to make it until it's your last breath. Sometimes you're lucky enough that it is your last breath, and you know, this is just the time that you get to meet God. But I never wanted to be someone who just made it by the skin of their teeth, man. You always want to, like, try to get right now. You know, don't let it scare you, but give it hope, though. You know, let it give you hope that you will be fine. You know, get right on the path right now. It's all about your heart. It's all about your intention, because He knows ultimately. So I'm going into work right now after training on my other job. I got chest day. Gonna be training that at night though. It's gonna be at like 9 p.m. Then I got all day tomorrow off, so I get to sleep in, sipping my coffee. See you guys there. All right, guys. So I'm at work right now. I'm grubbing down. Got some ground beef, rice, broccoli. I did not make this my own. This is all my wife's doing right here. She's definitely absolutely hooked it up. So we're grubbing down right now, and then I got like a couple more hours, after which I'm gonna go ahead and probably pound down a sandwich that I have. I have like a turkey sandwich, cheese, something slight. And then tonight, what I'm using for my pre-workout is actually the Chris Bumstead pre-workout drinks, the Bum drinks, the Bum Energy. The only reason why I like that is just because it's 100 milligrams of caffeine, because I don't necessarily drink a lot of caffeine. I don't really like to be all hyped up. I always, like, if I have a can of caffeine, if I have one of those drinks, I normally just drink half, and then I just kind of see how I feel. And if I feel like I need a little bit more, I'll chug it. But yeah, I'm gonna try that out. The snow cone flavor is pretty darn good, but I'm gonna try the orange flavor. So yeah, gonna pound this down. Come on. Got some Alani Nu gummy worms, pounding those down. It's workout time. Got out of work early, and we are going to chug Chris Bumstead drink here. Probably gonna wait here for like 25-30 minutes, just waiting on the wife here to drive here while we're gonna work out together. So I'm thinking right here for today, the workout is going to be switched up a little bit again. It is gonna be starting off with dumbbell presses, flat dumbbell bench. Then we're gonna go straight into the high incline Smith machine chest press. And then after that, we'll go right into, you know, cable fly, weighted dips, tricep push down of some sort. So today's workout, we're probably only gonna just do one set of failure for a lot of the movements, just because if you were doing, you know, bench press, Smith machine, weighted dips, a lot of these movements are pretty heavy, and it can be pretty hard to recover from. So if you don't plan accordingly, you know, it can be kind of a hard workout, especially if you're doing 2 sets of failure every single set. But I gotta say, these gummies are pretty good. The reason why I like eating these before workout is just simple sugars, simple carbs. 90 calories, 36 grams of C, which is carbs. And yeah, I just dig it. It's just something simple just to have before a workout. Nothing too heavy. And we'll just listen to our tunes, get prepped here for the workout. But big news, we are at 3,000 subscribers. So I'm pretty sure you guys already know this if I've already said it on the video. 3,000 subscribers, which is kind of crazy to think about, that there's 3,000 people in the world that are tuning in, listening to Whitaker Strength, listening to me, following all this, what we got going on here. I cannot wait to get some of the apparel out. It's gonna be awesome. You know, I'm gonna start flushing out some of those products. It's gonna be, you know, next couple weeks. Safe to say you'll probably get some mock-ups that are already finished. I'm just gonna release them when I'm in contact with the manufacturer. Probably in the next 2-3 weeks, you guys will start seeing videos roll out of all the mock-ups and everything like that. And you know, the goal is to always the goal has been is to build up and do my own thing. You know, I thought about this when I was working today. I remember going to community college and straight up, so we were homeschooled. My siblings and I, we were homeschooled. And you know, there's a couple ways you can kind of cheat around the homework, but it will come back and haunt you if you don't do everything accordingly. And I cheated on my math like crazy. And you know, had to get a math tutor, had to take that for like a year, kind of catch up, this and that. Not that I was bad at math, it was just, you know, I definitely wasn't in the area that I needed to be, that I felt comfortable for, especially for college, getting in there. And, you know, I gotta say is that school was never my thing. I never liked school, never. The only subjects that I kind of liked was history, but I didn't want to learn about George Washington in powdered wigs, and I hate that era. I don't know why we spent so much time on that part of history. I guess it's because, you know, 1776, or just kind of becoming a nation, and or yeah, establishing ourselves as a country, and you know, a couple big people in that area. So we just learned a lot about that era. And I remember we would go to these homeschool groups over the years. You know, it'd be like a private school once a week. So you'd go to the private school pretty much once a week, get all your homework done. During the week, you'd come back and then they'd send you new homework. It was just like a regular class. But for community college, the goal was to dual enroll, so that way I get like 2 free years of you know, eligibility, whatever, in college. So I could just 2 free years of college, essentially. And I could not get past the math. And I remember sitting in the PERT test, and the PERT test was like the entry-level test that you take just so you're allowed to get in. Dude, I'm not exaggerating. I took that test 10 times. 10 times I took that friggin' math test. I passed everything else the first try. And the math, it wasn't like it was horrible. I was like off by 1 point every single time. Off by 1 point, off by 2 points. And took it 10 times, spent literally $120. Not of my own, my mom spent $120. And I was like, Mom, please, I don't even like college. I'm probably gonna do something else. Stop with this money. And it was torture. So then, didn't dual enroll. We said, okay, whatever. We tried on the test, but I still got in. Was taking just some entry-level classes. And I remember sitting in class thinking to myself, this is not for me. I was in a really easy Foundations of Success class, a couple other stuff, the intermediate math. And, you know, I just knew, you know, the first day I just sit in, I know it's not for me. And, you know, just didn't feel like I fit in. Not to say that I was an outcast or anything, never was that. Always could be very social when I want to, talkative when I want to with people who I like. If I don't like you, I'm not going to talk to you. If I don't respect you, I'm not going to talk to you. And I didn't talk to a lot of people at all, really. I just kind of stayed by myself because I was like, I just really want to get out, go home, work out, or make music at the time, because I made a lot of music. I'd actually have music released on SoundCloud, so look up Dane Whitaker, you'll see my stuff. And I remember we had one time we were supposed to do a speech, and it was something like what we want to become. And what mine was, I was like, okay, I don't know, do I want to like be a personal trainer? Is it like a strength coach? Something fitness related, something around those realms. And you know, that was how many years ago? 2019, I meant. So, you know, we're going on like almost 6 years, 5 years ago. During that time, is it really 5? Yeah, 6 or 5 years ago. And I remember I had to go ahead and make a speech. Public speaking, I was always fine with, though. And in my head, I was like, okay, it'll probably be something fitness related. And, you know, over the last several years, I've been grinding at this program, as you guys know, is the Berserker program. It didn't have a name back then. You know, I started working on this program, I think 2021 or 2020. I started working on this program, adding in all the information, and I would kind of pick and choose and see, like, okay, I didn't really know how I wanted the format. I didn't know how I wanted this to be. I know exactly how I want the program to be, but some of the other, I guess, formulas of training for me have changed and altered a bit, and that's normal because, I mean, you live and you learn. And just out of all these years, it'd be funny if you guys saw how the program was at first versus how it is now. It's been through a lot of evolutions, I guess, and you know, it's cool to finally see that, you know, people are starting to notice it and get a little bit of recognition. It's awesome. But the biggest thing is actually helping people and trying to show people that as a natural lifter, you can, you know, get this change. You can get these results. It's not a thing of you have to hop on gear, because there's a lot of YouTubers out here who, you know, they'll sell a program, they'll say that they're natural, they're really not natural, and you don't know if you can trust them. I've been there, I've done that. I was that natural lifter who just got into lifting, thinking like, do I follow a guy whose advice, who sounds kind of right, but he's on steroids? Does it apply to me? Do I follow this natural lifter? This natural lifter looks like he does not know what he's talking about because he's out of shape. You're in a whole big kind of mix of, like, I don't know what I want to, who I want to do, what I want to follow. So it can be kind of clueless sometimes. Open up this water. But the number one things is this: whether you get my program or not, irrelevant. The number one things is this: pushing yourself as tense as you possibly can, taking every single set to failure that you possibly can, and just taking those first initial steps, man, because, you know, without any motion, not going to go anywhere. You need to at least make sure that you're, if any movement, small or big, make sure you're moving, because if you're not going to get anywhere. And I hate the people that say they want to get ripped, or they want to get jacked, they want to get this and that. They'll go for it for a week, stop. Go for a week, stop. Inconsistent. Hate it, bro. Hate it. I cannot hang out with those people. Don't want to even be associated with that way of thinking, or those type of guys, man. You have to be consistent with everything. Your diet is crucial. I mean, you guys know who've been following me. I was 125 pounds when I was 16. Watched the movie Fight Club with Brad Pitt. I looked in the mirror, literally, and I was like, man, I kind of want to get bigger. That was the first time I looked in the mirror. I was like, all right, I see myself in a different way now. And I was never self-conscious like crazy when I was growing up. You know, there's a couple things. Like, if I was skinny, I was like, yeah, okay, a little self-conscious, I guess, about that. If someone said I was skinny, I really wouldn't care. It wasn't like that. Really more self-conscious about my acne when I was younger, because I had bad acne. That was the number one thing. Gosh, man, it would devastate me if I got like a breakout, going on a date, whatever, going to the theaters, trying to put some game out, and then you're loaded with a new breakout. That was the devastator. Now I don't really care. Who cares about that now, man? But follow your passions. What is your passion? What do you like to do? You know, what motivates you? You got to live life that way. You know, I was never the type to get a desk job, 9 to 5, go home Monday through Friday, maybe work a shift on the weekend, a Saturday, whatever, get back home, do the same thing. I was never that guy. I was never the 9 to 5 guy. I worked it, I hated it. And if you hate what you're doing, sometimes people are put in a predicament where they have to provide for their family. I get it. Fortunately enough for me, when I was 14, 15, I knew what my passions were. I knew what my passions were off the bat. And I said when I was 14, I'm not going to work a job I hate. Because I was really into music, and that's actually kind of what drove this mindset at first was, I am not going to work a job I hate for the rest of my life, because I'm going to hate myself. I'm going to hate exactly what I become, because I'm not trying to be the best version of myself. I'm not trying to push myself further. And I hated the idea of being trapped down, you know, just with a job that makes you hate going to sleep at night because you're like thinking about the job, pissed off in the morning because you got to go there, pissed off at night because you got to go there in the morning, pissed off on Sunday night because now you got to go through it all again. And the only time you get that little ounce of happiness, and I'm speaking from experience because job I've had like that, is maybe of Wednesday, one couple minutes of relief. Sorry about that camera. It looks like the storage is trying to get me over here as I'm saying the message, but the ounce of happiness that you have is like maybe on a Thursday or Friday, and then by the time Saturday's done, it's all over again. And I couldn't do that, man. I'd rather take a risk while I'm young, build up my own thing, which is not even a risk. You know, if you know you're going to be excelling something, you just feel it, you know it, then you're on the right path. And man, I feel it, I know it. I know where Whitaker Strength can go. I know what we can build up here, you know, especially with the apparel. Cannot wait for you guys to see that, man. And you know, you just have to have that tunnel vision, you know, you have to have that focus for sure. So wife is almost here, and gonna record a workout edit here today. I'm not gonna do a talk through right here. It's just gonna be a workout edit, man. So gonna kind of switch it up. I haven't done that in a while, and I just want to switch it up that way. So I'll see you guys in a bit.
Got it. Now,
That's kind of tough. Good. I'm getting a wicked pump off those sour gummy ones and the gorilla mode.
yeah.